Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
What is happening, family? Welcome to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz. Look, we're diving deep and keeping it real. So please do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. Look, this is episode 531. All righty. And we got a lot on tap for you all today. First, I don't know if y'all have heard, but there was a man that broke into Mar-A-Lago without security, in a secured area, tried to avoid security. He was an armed man as well, and he was killed by security because there was a threat. He was appearing as a threat. And we're going to talk about it because I feel like this is a broader conversation. If this for sure was, which I believe it was, an attempt on the president's life, right? This makes attempt number 3, and it's disgusting. Look, I get it. He might not be the fan favorite to many, but that doesn't mean the man needs to lose his life over, your disagreements with his stances or how he is running the country. That's disgusting. I always tell folks, I don't wish harm on my worst enemy. So no one at all should be, fear for their life. I mean, you have elected officials that receive death threats on a regular basis that needs strong security details because they get threatened or, vandalism towards their property or their homes, their vehicles. It's disgusting. It really is disgusting. And I'm just, I'm happy nobody was, I'm happy nobody there was, what was there to, God knows what would happen. So, security did what they had to do. And we'll just talk again. We'll talk a little more about this. I'm sad that a life was lost as well. I mean, that's just my heart. But anyway, moving on from that, Women's Sports Sunday. Okay, Women's Sports Sunday. ESPN have recently launched Women's Sports Sunday as a first of its kind summer weekly primetime franchise showcasing the best of women's sports in premium windows. So you have WNBA and women's soccer, two sports, female sports that are growing. Okay, you have the daughter of Dennis Rodman, who's like the highest paid player in women's soccer, and you have women's basketball obviously continue to grow and become very popular. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's it's been a long time coming because with the growth of women's sports, they still struggle when it comes to viewerships. Signing these big name companies and stuff like that because they're shown on like TV networks that is never no one cares to watch. Like I think the WNBA is usually on Ion. Who the hell watches Ion? So it's a lot, but we'll discuss it later on. Also, in my opinion, I think MAGA is looking pretty desperate, and I'll explain why later on in the show. Also, I did not get a chance to talk about this story, but I believe a city out in Idaho was announcing that they were removing Juneteenth. Wow, removing Juneteenth. So we are going to talk about that as well. So we have a lot on tap for you on today's show. As always, before we move forward, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to tune into yet another great conversation here on the Arrington Gavin Show. You could be doing so many other things with your precious time, but the fact that you said, hey, look, I want to chime in to see what Arrington's talking about, I truly appreciate it. We are a growing program. We see growth in our viewerships, our followers on social media, and even just on platforms in general, right? We drop new episodes Monday through Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, Facebook as well, wherever you get your podcasts. That could be iHeart, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, just to name a few. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. You can also listen to us on some of our radio affiliates like WBOK out in New Orleans, where you can listen to the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights, 7 p.m. Central Time on WBOK 12:30 a.m. Then you have KSHP 1400 a.m. and 107.1 FM Las Vegas. You can chime into the show Fridays at 8 p.m. Pacific Time on KSHP, again 1400 a.m. and 107.1 FM. Then I'm forgetting one. Oh, WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk over in the Metro Atlanta area. 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Fridays. And yeah. And you can also watch past episodes of the Arrington Gavin Show on GOATverse TV. GOATverse TV, go ahead and look them up. Download the app on your App Store or Google Play Store, Roku, or Amazon Fire TV. You have those opportunities to download the GOATverse TV app. So yeah, we got that going on, and so there's no excuse by all means. So you can look, you can check it out on any platform. Before we head to a commercial break, though, I do want to share this survey that came across my feed that I thought was quite interesting. So, I am a podcast connoisseur. I indulge in podcasting of all different types, whether if it's, entertaining, comedic podcasts, crime podcasts, political podcasts. Most of the time it's political talk, but I branch music-based podcasts. I love to hear conversation. I love to hear other folks' thoughts and just opinions and how they were. Like I'm always intrigued with conversation. Ever since I was a kid, I was like that. I loved radio shows more than I enjoyed listening to music. And so when I read this about Joe Rogan. Now, Joe Rogan, in my opinion, is the podcast royalty, right? He's one of the OGs when it came to podcasting. Rogan has been doing it forever. I don't even know how many years, but he's had multiple, $100 million contracts exclusively with podcast platforms. That's saying something. Anyways, apparently, majority of women find it a turn off if partner listens to the Joe Rogan podcast. I'm like, wait, what? Joe? What's the dealio? What is the dealio here? So I wanted to read it up, and I'm like, let me see here. So a new survey is sparking debate online after finding that a majority of women view listening to the Joe Rogan Experience as a dating red flag. According to the Change Research poll of 1,033 registered U.S. voters age 18 to 34, 55% of women said a partner who listens to Joe Rogan is a red flag, compared to 35% of men who felt the same. The findings place Rogan alongside other political charge traits that young voters say influence romantic compatibility. Now, Rogan has never really been a political guy. As a avid listener, right? I can't say I listen to it from start to finish, only because his shows are damn near 4 hours long. A show. I don't got time for that. I'm always on the move, but I do, when I do have time, I tune into it. Rogan's never been political. The only time he just came out as political, which a lot of people really did not like it, was when he publicly endorsed Donald Trump the day before the election. Damn, Joe. I'm like, wow, really? Really? You gonna endorse him? And Rogan's always been kind of like the guy to shy away from. He doesn't quite shine away from politics, but he's never shared too much of his views. He tries to be fair and have people of all sides of the aisle. And like, I think the election between Trump and Biden, I think Rogan voted third party. Right now, he voted the libertarian ticket, which libertarians somewhat usually sways a little more right than left. But Joe is pro cannabis. I think he's quite big on social issues. He's anti-woke, right? He's not a fan of the woke crowd. He's pro 2A. He's a hunter. He can't stand because he moved literally from liberal California to Austin, Texas. He's grown Austin, Texas as a new comedy um new comedy city, where comedians are starting their careers. You got Kill Tony, who is more of a Trumper, right? He does a lot of work with Rogan. You have just again other right-leaning comedians that are on Rogan's platform. Rogan is a commentator with the UFC. UFC is owned by Dana White. Dana White is Trump's right-hand man. So you kind of they're putting a lot as far as on Rogan, because they're like, okay, you're basically MAGA. You voted for him, you're MAGA. But now you hear Rogan always sharing his frustration with the Trump administration, which you kind of want to say, well, if you would have put the cannabis down, buddy, you probably would have, you could think clear. No, I'm joking. I apologize for all my friends that are avid Mary Jane users out there. But yeah, and when you look at Rogan, I mean, Rogan always depicts himself, or I guess to viewers, that's the man's man. He's a fighter. He hunts. He likes his whiskey. He likes his he's big into staying fit, the weight room. He's tatted up. He is unfiltered. He does what he wants to do, and could care less and all that stuff. So it's just, I feel as though like the macho, the bro types, right? The pod bros, as they call them, which is weird because I mean, hey, I have a podcast. I don't consider myself a pod bro, but if people want to be a Rogan, and really, who doesn't? Now, as far as success wise, I get it, because Rogan is the pinnacle. Rogan is, when it comes to podcasting, you almost can't go any higher. You can kind of, but Rogan's always been that guy, always the top 5 podcasts on a regular, maybe number 1 on a regular basis. As I continue to read this, it says a survey showed that 76% of women considered identifying as a MAGA Republican a red flag. 66% said having no hobbies is a red flag, which I would say is a red flag. No hobbies at all. And 60% flag saying all lives matters. Meanwhile, 64% of men viewed identifying as a communist as a red flag. The data highlights how political identity, media consumption, and cultural preferences are increasingly shaping dating decisions among younger Americans. Now, this poll was conducted between August 25 and September 1st of 2023, with a margin of error of plus or minus 3.4%, as social and political divides continue to intensify. Personal beliefs and podcast playlists as now playing a measurable role in modern relationships. So, what do you guys think? Is it a turnoff if you tune into the Joe Rogan podcast? Ugh, I don't like it. See, this one I think this is quite comical, because people need to realize not everybody agrees on the same freaking stuff. Okay, prime example. I am an independent. I'm proud to be an independent. Most likely will forever be an independent. And that's just my take. I'm not married to any party. Now, my spouse, my wife, is a Democrat. She will let you know, hey, look, I got no shame in my game. That's her. And she's strong in her beliefs. Yeah, look, we have our disagreements from time to time. But at the end of the day, we agree to disagree. We respect each other's opinions. And sometimes we learn something from each other. There's a couple that I highly recommend y'all to do your research on. James Carville. James Carville, known as the Racing Cajun, long-time Democratic strategist. His wife of many years, I think it's Matlin. I believe her name is Mary Matlin. Yes, Mary Matlin is a longtime conservative. She is I believe she's a Republican for years, and I think she's now part of the Libertarian Party. Two different opinions, both very opinionated, but yet both love each other very much. Interesting, right? Interesting how that works. So I think now in our era, in our current state, people are so just tight on their views, and they just, because I have friends that's like, oh my gosh, how can you talk to that person? They're from the opposing side. How can you talk to that person? Oh my gosh, how can you be seen with the picture? I'm like, y'all need to chill. Y'all need to chill. It's ridiculous, because at the end of the day, you realize in order to succeed the country, you have to work together, bipartisanship. You forget about that, right? Because God forbid, if you had only Republican views in office, you're going to get what you're having right now. Now, if you had all liberal and Democratic views, it will be it will be worse. I mean, it will be equally as worse. I'll say it like that. They will both be bad. You always have to bring on some common sense. Common sense doesn't have a party, y'all. Common sense doesn't have a label. That's why, I always enjoy when I hear missions like the party, the Forward Party. I always enjoy to hear their views on certain things like that. So that's just me. That's just me. Let's see here, my friends. What we're gonna do? We're gonna take a commercial break. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show.
Every man has a story to tell. Your ambitions, your achievements, your legacy. Your suit should reflect that story, crafted precisely, designed for impact, and tailored exclusively for you. We work with only the finest fabrics, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends from world-renowned mills in Italy, the UK, and India. These fabrics are the foundation of custom suits that exude elegance and stand the test of time. But a suit isn't just about fabric, it's about fit, and it's about confidence, and it all starts with you. When you work with me, you'll receive a personalized consultation, whether in person or over Zoom. Together, we'll explore your vision and discuss your needs, and we're gonna bring your ideas to life. My journey as a designer includes apprenticing under New York-based designer Clavon Leonard, showcasing collections at New York Fashion Week, Algeria Fashion Week, and the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. That experience is what we bring to every suit we create, from weddings to corporate events and everything in between. We specialize in crafting one-of-a-kind suits for life's most significant moments. Dapper Luke has been recognized as one of Baltimore's best menswear in 2023, and I was honored to be one of the 10 designers selected for the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. With over 900 satisfied clients, we proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore, bringing world-class designs to these incredible communities. We don't just make suits, we craft confidence. Your suit will fit your body, your style, and it will tell your story. Book your free online personal consultation today. Visit www.dapperluke.com.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
rugged is the new smooth.
And we still in traffic.
Don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up. Yeah, this that new Goldverse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of the app he said?
Introducing Goatverse TV.
Goatverse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In Goats, we trust.
All right, fam. Welcome back to the show. As I mentioned earlier, MAGA is looking pretty desperate, which they've been looking like a few things I can say, but I can't really say it on air, but I can say it, I can say it on social media. So be sure to follow us on social media. But no, MAGA is looking quite desperate, my friends. Because so on a call-in show on C-SPAN now, Shout out to my friend Dr. Eric Lavelle, political legal analyst, friend of the show, who is a diehard C-SPAN watcher. I picked on him because when he first told me how much he loves watching C-SPAN, I'm like, wow, that is the most boring thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, ew, who watches C-SPAN? And now, of course, I'm over here watching C-SPAN, and I'm just like, look at me, hypocrite. So anyway, there was a recent call-in show, and this listener here who is a Virginia caller, said their name was or went by John Barron, was sharing their frustration on Democratic leaders Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer after Supreme Court's recent 6-3 ruling striking down his emergency tariff authority, his being Donald Trump. And the callers sound quite familiar, y'all. Let me play this for you.
Well, this is John Barron, and this is the worst decision you ever have in your life, practically. Jack's going to agree with me, right? But this is a terrible decision. And you have Hakeem Jeffries, he's a dope, and you have Chuck Schumer, who can't cook a cheeseburger. Of course these people are happy. But true Americans will not be happy. And you have the woman earlier, I assume she's a woman, she's a Democrat, but she said she's disgraced. She's devastated.
All right,
by
John.
this.
We'll go to Chester, who's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Democrat.
Now, here's the funny thing, y'all. Personally, I do the rumors, the question is, hey, was that Donald Trump or was that somebody else? Personally, I think out of all these Trump impersonators, it probably was an impersonator. I mean, look, I'm not trying to defend Trump by all means. I mean, it could have been him, right? John Barron, I know his youngest son is named Barron, but there's so many great impersonators. All right, now that wasn't a really good one. There's so many great impersonators who try to talk like me, right? Try to talk like Donald J. Trump. But you got so many out there. It most likely was probably impersonator. But it was funny because they're like, wow, this is comedy gold. If that is an impersonator and that was Donald Trump, wow, how desperate can you get? Another clip I want to share with you. So Vice President J.D. Vance was recently on Fox News, and he was asked by a Fox News host. They shared a recent poll, and he basically called out the network while he was there, and it's just so funny because I'm like, wow, look at this.
I want to just put up a poll. This shows congressional vote preference. This was at the end of January, so just a few weeks ago. Of all voters, Democratic candidate preference at 52, GOP candidate at 46. We've got a long way to go, but obviously that number would not be good for the majority.
That would not be good. I will say, as much as we love Fox News, we always think Fox News has the worst polling. Me and the president agree on that. I'm sorry.
I can show you other ones that are very similar. But since they're ours, I show ours.
Why should we believe you guys? You guys have awful polling. Let's try seeing it. Oh, they have awful polling too. Let's try MS Now. Oh, they got awful polling. What about News Nation polling? It says the same thing. They're awful. What about OAN? Oh, they're awful. Like, look, you can name all media. Like the Fox News host said, every polling is showing the same. Now, Fox News, who is a conservative network that continues to stay on Trump's bad side because they also called the election during when it was him and Biden. Again, Trump is petty, right? Everybody in his orbit is petty. But it's just so comical how you have J.D. Vance just says, yeah, the president and I can agree on your polling is awful. It's not right. Even though you're saying our numbers are low, we know they're not low. All right, we're doing a great job. Don't listen to So they just want to say don't listen to any polling. Because remember, this is an administration that just totally shifted out the accurate journalists to podcasters and grassroots folks in their press room, right? It's pretty funny to me. All right, moving on. As we kind of stay, I'll kind of stay in the theme of MAGA being desperate, but this one focuses on an individual in Texas, the Congressman Wesley Hunt, who is currently running for Senate. He's running for Senate out there in Texas. He's running to unseat John Corn, which there is a crowded Texas GOP primary happening over there. And Wesley Hunt, who's 44 years old, Black conservative, one of the rising stars in the conservative movement, I would say, outspoken conservative. I mean, hell, when you have Black conservatives, especially the more popular ones, you have guys like Byron Donald out of Florida, who's running for governor, congressman running for governor in Florida. You have Wesley Hunt now wanting to run for U.S. Senate in Texas. He's a congressman. You have Senator Tim Scott. Well, Tim Scott's been in the Senate for quite some time, so he's not looking to run any higher. He tried to make an attempt for presidency, but good luck with that. That was never going to happen. NT ways. So Wesley Hunt was asked by a local reporter in his home turf about the recent video of the Obamas being depicted as apes that was reposted, that was shared on Trump's platform. Of course, he then accused it was a staffer, an unknown name staffer that posted it. I'm like, okay, whatever. But yet your press secretary continues to say, well, everything that goes on social media always gets the go ahead by Trump. He gets the final saying, and he's very aware of what goes out there. So it's all back and forth. But listen to this clip here as, again, Congressman Wesley Hunt, Republican out of Texas, who's currently a candidate for Texas U.S. Senate. He shares his take on the video of former President Barack Obama and his wife, former First Lady Michelle Obama, being depicted as apes. When asked by the reporter, here's what he had to say.
Ask you about the social media posts from President Trump that depicted President Obama and the First Lady as monkeys. Did you find that racist at all?
Actually, I watched the entire video, and if you watch the entire video, it was depicting many Democrats in the vein of Lion King, and the fact that they were just going to take one snippet of that and then try to paint a brush and say that all of a sudden President Trump is a racist guy, I think is ridiculous. I think people stopped listening to legacy media a long time ago and stopped trusting that fact. Here's what I know: the president has invited me to travel with him multiple times. He's been nothing but kind to my family. He's been nothing but good to me. He has been nothing but kind to my wife, and even on one campaign stop stopped in my wife's hometown of Maquoketa, Iowa. Does that sound like somebody who's racist? And last I checked, I've been Black for my entire life. What I do is I take how people treat me personally, and I don't really care what people say about them online. I know President Trump, and he's been very good to me.
One of your colleagues, Tim Scott, said he found it racist, though. Are you surprised at that?
I mean, I thank God that Tim Scott can speak for himself. I have absolutely nothing to say about that. He's a grown man, can speak for himself. He's wrong. And I think we all know that he's wrong at this point. And look, either you believe the president is racist or you believe that he is not. I don't believe he's not. I know he's not.
I mean, said like a true bought and paid for, and do whatever he can to stay on Trump's good side. Okay, so right then and there, the first response, his first answer, he said, well, if you watch the full video, because I know he's not a racist, if you watch the full video, the video depicted as a scene from The Lion King, which you got to stop him right there. So everybody saw Lion King, right? Do y'all remember any apes being in Lion King, like big silverback apes? I don't remember any silverback apes. 2, yes, there were multiple Democratic elected officials that also were different animals, right? You had Hakeem Jeffries, you had Elizabeth Warren, you had oh Lord, I think you had what's the senator out of Minnesota, Amy Klobuchar, I believe, was in there. Nancy Pelosi might have been. Chuck Schumer out of New York was on there. So there were different elected officials that were also depicted as different animals. But at the end of the day, sir, he's still depicted as black people as apes. Stop trying to overlook and saying, well, legacy media has been bad for quite some time. And, first of all, Trump has treated me with respect. He's treated my wife. He went to my wife's hometown in such and such, I don't know what he said, such and such Iowa, which, by the way, Wesley Hunt's wife is white, by the way. I just want to put that out there. She's white. Byron Donald's wife is white. Tim Scott's wife is white. Okay, I just want to put that out there. Just want to put that out there. And then when he was asked about Tim Scott, who said it was offensive and racist, Wesley Hunt, the center of that bald head was getting a little sweaty. It was getting a little moist. He's like saying, he has his own opinion. He's wrong. We all know he's wrong. It's not that I don't think, I know the president is not. And look. I don't need to replay you just a small clip that Victor Blackwell, and I'm not over here trying to say CNN always has it right, but this specific anchor, Victor Blackwell, who I think he's on weekends, he shared just a few moments of why Trump continues to rub folks the wrong way, people of color specifically, because of his lack of support, in my opinion, of black people. Okay. You have Wesley Hunt. Wesley Hunt will continue to do whatever he can for the party. Again, he's trying to win an election. You think he's going to do anything to try and hurt that? Especially being a black conservative? Please. That was the worst interview and worst response I have ever seen. If you watch the whole video, we've all watched the whole video. It's on social media, dummy. Like, of course you've seen the video. Like, and you still are saying that this was not, I mean, even President Trump says, well, you know what? The party has a public relations problem. Maybe, messaging and stuff. Like, he's just now starting to say that after how many years being in office? Wesley Hunt will continue to be a puppet for MAGA. Tim Scott is trying to warn him because Tim Scott has been that ally for years, yet nothing has occurred. Now, look, Wesley Hunt is a shoo-in to become the senator of Texas. Could happen. It could most likely happen. As far as in the GOP primary, it could happen. But to say, I mean, I'm sorry, you couldn't tell a single black person, regardless of political opinion, that video was not wrong. Like, that right there blows my mind to people that wants to defend. Like, his response to me was just as worse as when the lady that was on I forget what show she was on. She had said Trump can't be racist because he shared a stage with Nicki Minaj. How could he be racist? I mean, how? Like, that's just that's some sad stuff right there. I tell you, that's some sad. That's like a white person saying I'm not racist because I have exactly 5 black friends. How can I be racist? Sorry, when you know the exact number, it's a little tough. And vice versa. If a black person asks me, "Oh, I'm not." Oh, well, how do you know? Well, I have 2 white friends that they are good friends of mine. 2 of them. Yeah, I know. I'm not, like, that's awful. You can't do that, y'all. Y'all do better. Do better. Accountability, transparency. We all are seeing it, and see, stuff like that is what continues to hurt the GOP, and that's what you're going to see happen in the midterms or during the midterm. So that's just my 2 cents on that. I might have to replay that video on social media because that is a funny response by the congressman out of Texas. But again, no shocker at all. And I'm gonna tell you one more thing before I finish this segment talking about Congressman Wesley Hunt. He is also amongst a group of conservatives that are trying to unseat the older GOP members. He mentioned folks like, you got him, Rubio, JD Vance. We're all the next generation of American patriots, and it's time for new voices and new views. So you see it happening on both sides. As we talk about the shift and maybe out with the old, in with the young kind of thing. Let's see here. as I digress from that story, I do want to talk about this recent happened. Let me get that out the way. This recent story that happened at Mar-a-Lago, where a man was found, an armed individual was or had broken into Mar-a-Lago. Let me see if I can find the story here. Perfect. I just pulled it up. Let me share you all the clip, and then we'll talk about it on the other side. Hold tight as I share the.
Service says a man in his early 20s is dead after he was shot by agents and a sheriff's deputy overnight at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach. According to authorities, the man breached a secure perimeter at the property's gate, carrying a shotgun and a gas can. Officials say law enforcement confronted the man, ordered him to drop the items, and fired shots after they say the man raised the shotgun to a shooting position. The president is in Washington this weekend, and the Secret Service says no other protectees were there. The Secret Service says a man.
So that was reported by ABC News. Says here that a Moore County man, 21 years old, killed by Secret Service agents at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach. Says here that the gentleman's name, Austin Tucker, according to Associated Press, that's what the suspect was identified as. According to the Moores County Sheriff's Office, Martin was reported missing by family members in North Carolina. Now, officials told WRAL News the FBI was at Martin's home in Cameron on that recent day. Vehicles blocked the entrance to a property listed in public records as an address for Martin at the end of a private road in Cameron, North Carolina. My iPad wants to act funny on me. Okay, investigators believe the suspect left North Carolina and headed south, picking up a shotgun along the way. The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office later released a photo of the shotgun and a gas can Martin is believed to have used. Now, speculations are showing that the killer comes from a it says it right here. So before I continue, according to Associated Press, Martin's cousin reacted with disbelief. He described Martin as quiet, afraid of guns, and from a family of avid Trump supporters. We hear of stories about this pretty often, right? Where you have these folks that want to pursue an attempt on an elected official's life, or let's just say, President Trump's, because this will technically be the third attempt. And they always they're coming from family Trump supporters. Like, look, the guy that gunned down conservative activist Charlie Kirk came from a conservative Trump supporting family. And now you have somebody like this guy who came from family of avid Trump supporters. Now, does that mean his parents were Trump supporters? They just said a family of avid Trump supporters. He said he's a good kid. Scared of guns, didn't like guns. He said they grew up together. I wouldn't believe he would do something like this. It's mind-blowing. He said Martin worked as a local golf course and would send money from each paycheck to charity. Where does it all happen, y'all? Where does all this stem? Because you never know what happens behind closed doors. You really don't. And you just always got to be careful for the quiet ones, because quiet ones, you don't know really too much. You make the assumption, wait, he's quiet, he's afraid. You don't know. People can't. You can't read individuals, right? You really can't. And there's a thin line between sane and insane. I just always tell folks, hey, look, be kind to one another, treat everybody with equal respect, because you just don't know. You just don't know. We live in a world now where it's terrible, and this is a terrible tragedy. And I'm fortunate. I'm very happy that President Trump or his family were there. I'm glad they weren't there, because again, we should never wish harm on our elected officials, regardless of if we disagree with their political beliefs. Another person quoted saying he wouldn't even hurt an ant. Okay. He doesn't even know how to use a gun. Y'all thought. He said his cousin didn't discuss politics. We are big Trump supporters, all of us, everybody. But his cousin was real quiet, never really talked about anything. Then it says another individual who lived near the Martin family said that they saw Martin's mother go to a gas station reporting him missing. Said she had no idea where he was. I just hate it for the family. Her husband is just a tragic situation. Young man loses his life over something that could have been avoided. Here's I guess the question to y'all. How does incident like this, how do folks prevent this from ever happening again, or just happening? How do you stop stories like this? How do you stop issues or situations like this? How do you prevent this from happening? Like that's what worries me, is that I feel as though it's going to continue to get worse and worse and worse, and it's unfortunate. It really is. I mean, 21 years old, 21 years old. And a lot of these, the two out of the three, two of the folks that attempted to, were tried to assassinate the president were young. The gentleman in Pennsylvania, the very first one that we all could recall, he was young. Now, I believe the second gentleman who was at Mar-a-Lago was, let me see here. If I could, oh, here we go. You know, you got a little technology, y'all, because I'm over here trying to operate my iPad with my notes, right? And it's moving so slow because we're currently in my home area, we're currently under a winter storm, and I think it's affecting with our connection here. So my iPad has been moving quite slow, but okay, so the second gentleman foiled a plot at Trump's international golf course, Ryan Wesley Ruth, who he's currently in jail, I think serving like a life sentence for what he did. And the first attack was in 2024, July 13th of 2024. So it's a tragedy. All, the whole is a tragedy all around. Again, no one would have, there will never be clear answers on why he did this. I think they're probably, most likely it's going to be an investigation to see exactly if he had anything in his room that cited that, okay, this guy was not a fan of, Trump, or he was planning on doing this. No one would know. No one would know. All I can just, to end this segment here, we have to pray for our country. We have to pray for the world we live in, y'all, because this is not okay. It's not okay, and it needs to stop. Y'all, we're going to take a quick commercial break. You're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Let me tell you something most people get wrong about suits. A suit isn't just about you wearing it. It's how you show the world who you are. It's your handshake before you say a word, your presence when you step into any room. That's why we design statements at Dapper Luke. We don't just make suits. We'll start with the fabrics that tell your story, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blend sourced from the finest mills in Italy, the UK, and India. Then we'll combine that with your vision, your personality, and your style. Every detail is tailored to you, from the fit to the finish. Whether for your wedding, a gala, the boardroom, we specialize in creating custom suits that are unique, just like the men who wear them. We spent years perfecting this craft, apprenticing under designers in New York and showcasing collections in New York and for Baltimore Fashion Week. None of that matters as much as seeing the look on your face when you try on your custom suit. Over 900 clients have already trusted us to deliver the best custom suits. They trust me to deliver the confidence. We proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore and would be honored to bring your vision to life next. Let's create something unforgettable. Book your free consultation today at www.dapperluke.com.
6'10", number one pick, 16 seasons, College Player of the Year, All-Rookie Standout. Joe Smith built a career on grit, consistency, and showing up.
Greatness isn't just about the game. It's about how you show up every day. Rugged Evolution now offers body care products for every man, because not every man wears a beard, but every man deserves care. Greatness doesn't fade.
It evolves. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Every beard deserves to be legendary, and every man deserves care.
All right, my friends, welcome back. All right. How are we looking? What time? We're looking pretty good with time. Okay, so there's a city in, I believe, Idaho. If I can find, is it? I think it is Idaho. Let me see if I have it right here. A city in Idaho is talking about removing. You hear me? Removing Juneteenth. Juneteenth, y'all. I can't make this stuff up. And it's sad because once again, it's a prime example of people trying to erase history. Okay, erase Black history, erase positivity, stuff like that is positivity. When you hear that they're trying to erase it, is disgusting. And if I can find I thought I had it on tap. Where is it at, guys? Where is it at? I can pull up on here, but I want y'all to listen to this. Well, let me see. Do I have it up here? No, I do not. Well, I'm not gonna waste time. We're gonna move on, and I'll move it on to our next story here. So I'll come back to that on the show. So let me fast forward and discuss the Women's Sports Sunday. Women's Sports Sunday, as I mentioned earlier, ESPN is to launch a first of its kind summer weekly primetime franchise showcasing the best of women's sports in premium windows. Now, it was recently shared that this will be debuting in the summer of 2026. The new Sunday night destination will feature top-tier WNBA and NWSL, okay, National Women's Soccer League on ESPN, presented by Ally Matchups, elevating the biggest moments, rivalries, and stars across women's sports on ESPN networks and premium windows. I think this is great because the female sports talent deserves to be seen on a broader audience because they're extremely talented, right? You have critics that say, well, women's sports are just not that attractive when it comes to the views. Like they're low in the viewerships, and no one wants to watch women's sport. No one wants to watch women's basketball, women's soccer. Boring. I don't want to hear women's commentating. I don't want to hear, like, that exists in 2026. That stuff exists. More than a programming block, Women's Sports Sundays represents a bold commitment to incomparable competition, consistency, and storytelling, establishing women's sports as the main event on Sunday nights. Across 9 consecutive weeks and 12 games, ESPN will deliver a premium viewing experience that invites longtime fans and newcomers alike into a reimagined summer primetime tradition. Women's sports are for everyone and more acceptable than ever. Now, of course, I already know you're going to hear in Washington, See, this is this whole wokeness. This is just whole, it's disgusting. I think it's gonna hurt the ratings. The ratings already been hurting. Who wants to watch it? Like, trust and believe. You're gonna hear the right continue to criticize, not even just the right, but folks of all that criticizes women's sports, and they criticize them because, for one, they don't believe that they deserve more money. Two, they don't think it's as entertaining, right? Three, they look at it as, hey, look, my Sundays, I deserve to watch what I want to watch. Why are you forcing people to do? Trust and believe, it's going to be a protest. You already have one, Craig Carton, who's a sports talk radio host. He shared his thoughts on it, and I mean, not quite like a hatred towards women's sports, but I think just on the overall decision. I'll share this clip and I'll give you my take on it, what he had to say.
ESPN just died. ESPN just passed away. It's a wrap for what used to be the worldwide leader. After a 35-year-old Sunday programming mainstay, they have now decided to go to Women's Sports Sundays. I want to be clear. This is not a knock on the fabulously talented women that play professional sports. They are very good at what they do when compared to other women, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is that there's never been a television audience for it until Caitlin Clark started playing basketball in the WNBA. What does that mean? A bespoke studio programming.
I don't know what that means.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
All right. What does that mean? We're going to have a bunch of like non-binary transgendered athletes commentating on athletics?
I don't believe that that's
I don't know what it means. So ESPN's pivot, which is apparently a move that they spent a lot of time strategizing, is we're out of the baseball business the way we used to be in it. And instead, we're going to give America a bespoke studio programming element with women's soccer and women's basketball. Now, I'll say this. If Caitlin Clark is not playing in every single Sunday night game on ESPN, then you're dumber than you act.
If you were in charge of ESPN and the baseball's already cold, what would you have picked?
First thing I would do is I'd take the 10 hottest female Olympic athletes and I have them do stuff like Survivor. I would bring back Battle of the Network Stars. I would put that on.
Okay. So you have
people compete.
You'd have like one of the cops from Law and Order.
Yeah.
Going against like
the firefighter from Chicago FD. Whatever. Yeah.
And they be going and then they do now that I'm behind.
Yeah. ESPN just died.
Now you heard Craig Carton's co-host on there, where because Craig is pretty controversial, right? He already said I would line up all the hottest female athletes in the from the Olympics and put them on an island like Survivor, right? Okay. Now when he mentioned a show called, I think, Battle of the Battle of the Athletes or whatever, Battle of the Fitness, he actually had a point there, because it used to be a show where you had pro athletes compete against like TV stars. It was at one point, you had folks from, I don't know, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air compete, or like, Carlton competed. People from, action shows competing. Stuff like that is actually quite interesting. I will say that is something to, to think about. But all around, I don't think it's going to be a bad idea. It's going to be, a trial and error run, because it will be a first of its kind. So as you see, it's only going to last for 9 weeks. 9 weeks they're going to do it. So 9 weeks, that's what? Almost 3 months. Well, about 2 months and some change. So for 2 straight months, 2 straight Sundays, you're going to start seeing women's sports. I think this is dope. My mother-in-law, who is a former athlete herself, I know she's going to love this. I know my wife is going to enjoy this. I'm going to check it out. I think it's going to be quite dope. Look, the competition has always been quite successful. And now seeing it on a prime time slate, I think it's well deserved, and it should have been, it should have been happening from the get-go. One thing I always say that what hurts the WNBA to gain traction is the fact that you put these big games on these dumb times. Like the WNBA finals game will be on a Wednesday at like 2, or on a Tuesday at 11:30 like a.m. It's just weird. It's weird times Nobody's in front of their TV watching it. And of course, they're not going to bring a lot of ratings because it's like it's the least popular time slot. So now, and again, you're not on channels like ESPN now. ESPN is just a channel that is probably watched on a regular basis. Now, you're not just going to get this on ESPN. You're probably going to get this shown on Hulu, the Disney Plus apps and all that stuff. So it's going to continue to grow, and you don't know with the hype. Yep, because I'm saying it's showing here. It will be across ESPN continues to shape the mainstream sports conversation across ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Select. ESPN airs more than 30,000 hours of live events annually of accounts of significant shared of all exclusive women's sport minutes broadcast on national measures. I think this is dope. What do y'all think? Be honest. Because I will say this. And a good friend of mine who's an athlete, he had told me this. He plays hockey. He told me this. He's like, the number of women that protest, whether it's higher pay or more notoriety for women's sports, they have to be the ones to fill in the seats at these games, at these sporting events. Because let's be honest, I guarantee you, if you do a polling or a tally and show how many women attend a NBA game compared to a WNBA game, I guarantee you the number is a lot higher for the NBA. I guarantee you. Women have to, because, not trying to sound sexist, but maybe not all women enjoy watching sports, right? Not all women enjoy watching sports. The only time they watch sports is when they're brought by their husbands to a sporting event. And the husband is going to take them to a sporting event that the husband preferably wants to watch. And the husband does not preferably wants to watch the WNBA. He wants to watch the NBA. And so you have the wives of husbands coming to those games. You're not going to see that happen in the other way around. You're not going to see wives saying, honey, come to this WNBA game. Now, if you're a fan of the sport, yes. But if you are not, I doubt it. So, long story short, we got to continue to do work on supporting all sports, right? All sports. We have to support those. To me, I feel bad when I hear women work so hard to make it to a professional level, the highest level of all, the professional level, to get paid low six figures. The highest paid players will be paid maybe $250,000, which is lower than the veteran minimum in the NBA. I'm just saying, it sucks. I get it. Numbers don't lie. They look at ticket sales, they look at the money that's brought in, but it sucks when you look at the hours of time. They probably put in the same amount of blood, sweat, and tears in practice to get to that pro level, and they're still barely can afford to make ends meet. It's just, I don't know, it's a little messed up. But hey, they do have big endorsements, which helps. And yeah, that is quite of a helpful push there. All right, my friends. Well, look, it's about that time. We're going to close up the conversation. Thank you so much, as always, for sticking with us here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Be sure to tune into the show weeknights, available on all digital and streaming platforms. As always, stay safe, stay informed, and yeah, we'll keep you up to speed here on the Arrington Gavin Show. I will talk to y'all soon. I got to go. I am out of here. Peace.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.